This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon only gameplays, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Lord Windgrace versus Rakdos the Showstopper, Sidisi Brood Tyrant, and Arcum Dagsson. We have all the colours we need. We've got removal. Don't have any ramp, unfortunately, but do I knock that back? I mean, I don't think there's any real reason to. Just a little bit slower than I would like. Mana Reflection for us on turn 1. That will come in handy later on, but we're not going to need it now. Now a Croson Grip. No one's gotten anything down on turn 1. Yeah, so we're just going for a Badlands in case we get into something for double black or red. We'll just play out the Badlands, doesn't really matter, and pass the turn. Oh, Prismatic Omen. Yeah, let's get down Prismatic Omen and then pass the turn. Good job I spotted that. Then a Fractured Power Stone from Arcum Dagsson and rolling the planar die. Very, very important part of the game of Commander. Very, very important part of this game. And last time, I think it was against Gogo actually. Last time he couldn't roll anything other than blanks, so we need to see if we're going to be shifting planes here. Nope, again rolling a blank. Got a 1 in 4 chance of doing that. Simic Signet comes out for the Sultai player. And then the Rakdos player just playing a land and passing. We've got quite a bit of removal now. Yeah, and I'm not as worried about Gaia's Cradle anymore because it will be able to tap for mana thanks to Prismatic Omen. So I'll just hold up mana in case we want to go for Croson Grip. I highly doubt that we do go for Croson Grip, but you never know. Haven't been over the players actually. We've got Gogo Batman, a patron of the channel. Helps to support me monetarily. And that is Arcum Dagsson that he's running today, coming down with a Chromatic Lantern. Then we've got another patron in Outlaw. And Outlaw has brought the Sidisi Brood Tyrant deck. And we're going to end up shifting planes here. I'll check that in a minute. Very, very important part of the game. And then we've got Wasted, who is running the Rakdos the Showstopper deck, and Wasted is a Modo random. And again, Gogo is rolling a blank on the planar, whatever it's called, the Fractured Power Stone. Oh, a Crucible of Worlds coming out for Sidisi with a fetch land. That's the type of thing we want to be doing. This is a Lands Matter deck, as the vast majority of Lord Windgrace decks are. And this is actually a variant of my 1v1 list. I have changed it up for multiplayer, so they are 2 different decks, but the vast majority of the cards are the same, and it functions in pretty much the same way. I'm still not as well versed in multiplayer as I am in 1v1, so I'm sure there's cards that I could include in here that I haven't already. They got down a Birds of Paradise as well over here, by the way. Alright, now a Wrenn and 6 is coming down. I mean, does Wrenn and 6 really do anything for us? Return up to 1 target land from graveyard to hand, 1 damage to any target. We could go after the Birds of Paradise. Instantly replaces itself with Misty Rainforest next turn. We'll do it just for the sake of playing something. We're not doing anything else. So we shoot the Birds of Paradise and pass over to our opponent. Wrenn and 6 is an incredibly expensive card in paper, and certainly on Magic Online as well. I think I've told this story before, but I noticed that the 3 mana Teferi that recently came out has shot up in price on Modo as well, and I bought that when it was very little ticks online. So I actually sold that and managed to get myself into a very expensive Wrenn and 6. Bought Liliana of the Veil as well, which is another expensive Planeswalker. So trading up there, getting rid of a Planeswalker that I was hardly ever going to use for 2 that I'm more likely to. Anyway, while I'm blabbering on, Arcum Dagsson gets down Darksteel Ingot, and then Mirror Maid as a copy of Darksteel Ingot, and then rolling the dice again. Well, you know what I think of rolling the planar die by now. But yet again, Go-Go rolling a blank. I don't know if Go-Go just has 6 blanks all over the planar die here, but I haven't seen Chaos or a shifting of planes yet. And speaking of 3-mana Liliana, there is the Last Hope. Up to 1 target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn. And that's what they go for, no creature to target yet. You can mill 2 and then return a creature card from graveyard to hand, and then -7 is an emblem. Oh, that's the Endless Ranks of the Dead, isn't it? And at the end of Outlaw's turn, Bedevil goes on to the Liliana, so I'm more worried about that than Wrenn and 6. We don't have any lands in the graveyard yet, so Wrenn and 6 isn't as frightening. And I don't suppose it's really all that bad in Commander anyway. Okay, finally getting to a land. It took us 5 draws, but we got there eventually. And unfortunately, we don't have anything to discard with Lord Windgrace, but I think we're best getting it out, because we've got nothing else to do. Now, what do we discard is the question. Yeah, we'll discard the Krosan Grip. I don't really like discarding anything in this hand, but we'll get rid of Krosan Grip. Alright, getting to Multani. 40 lands in this deck, and we're struggling here. We'll return up to 1 land with Wrenn and 6, just to put a loyalty counter on that, and then we'll pass the turn and keep our fingers crossed that we don't see any haste. Thankfully for us, the Rakdos player is struggling on lands as well. Rolling the planar die, not even bothering with the mana from this so far. And rolling a blank yet again. I'm really getting sick of the plane we're on currently. Oh, a Mind's Dilation. I was thinking about this in my Tuvasa deck the other day. Whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, that player exiles the top card of the library. If it's non-land, you can cast it without paying the cost. I've actually got Omniscience in the deck, and I might replace it with this. Although we can draw a lot of cards in Tuvasa, so Omniscience would be useful as well. Sidisi Brood Tyrant, and exiling a Bojuka Bog off the top. So we are definitely glad to see the back of that. We don't want our lands getting exiled. And they mill the mono black Sidisi, so they'll get a zombie. They get rid of Rooftop Storm as well, so this is obviously zombie tribal then. There's a couple of lands, a Birds of Paradise and the Liliana in the bin as well. Now let's see if Rakdos has any more luck getting into lands. Okay, there's a 4th one. So they immediately go in for Bloodspeaker. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Bloodspeaker and search for a demon. So we've got Zombie Tribal and Demon Tribal. Makes sense for Rakdos to be Demon Tribal so that they don't get all their own stuff blown up. Alright, Ancient Tomb is ramp, and Wrenn and 6 and Lord Windgrace go very nicely here because we're going to discard the Ancient Tomb. Then Wrenn and 6 is going to give it back to us. And do we go for Tempt with Discovery? We'll play the Ancient Tomb. I think we go in for the Mana Reflection first. Yeah, so let's go. Is this the first spell? Yeah, it's the first spell each turn. I'll forego that for now. Yeah, I wanted to Maelstrom Pulse on that. We might still be able to. Let's just hope that they can't cast anything really good. Alright, they grab our Crucible of Worlds. That I would obviously, they rather didn't have. But if it's getting blown up at some point during the game, then it goes into our bin. That keeps it out of exile at least. We might be able to get it back somehow. And it's not like we're getting into a bunch of lands to play out of the bin anyway. So let's go for the Mana Reflection. Then we go Tempt with Discovery, and let's see, with the Tempt cycle, I've said it on this channel a million times, I think you should say no to the Tempt cycle, but a lot of the times people don't. We will go Field of the Dead on that. And the fact that people are seeing Field might discourage them from saying yes to it. Outlaw goes for an Urborg. That means that I might go for Cabal Coffers then. Saves us going for our own Urborg. So We get one. And there might be a red source over here for double red. Yeah, we can see over here, waiting to choose a card from a library, so we'll get 2 lands here. So we get to search for 3 lands out of our library straight into play for only 4 mana. Which I think you'll all agree is very good. So we go Valakut, and we go Cabal Coffers. And that's our mana trouble sorted. Valakut is switched on thanks to the Prismatic Omen. We'll be able to throw some lightning bolts around. So we will bolt that thing. And we will bolt Sidisi as well. Then zombies can trade from Sidisi's side of the field. And now we can actually get rid of the Mind's Dilation as well, can't we? We can tap like that for 4 mana. Convert some of that into black. Or do we just want to go for Multani? No, I think we're a big enough threat as it is. Let's just go for the Mind's Dilation. Don't have quite enough green, unfortunately, but we'll definitely get rid of that. So now we've got a heap of mana. We've got a means of giving our opponents a headache with Field of the Dead. We've got some removal in hand. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here so far. Oh, a bribery. Alright, we've got some good stuff in our deck that could go well with Crucible of Worlds. Especially if they've got fetches and stuff. So, let's see what they aim for. We've got Titania, Omnath, Gitrog Monster, Nesting Dragon. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Oh, alright, it's a Bane of Progress. That switches off our Valakut then. It also takes us off of the Mana Reflection, so we're still alright. We've got Field of the Dead and we've got Cabal Coffers still. So we've got a heap of mana. We also get our Crucible of Worlds back into the graveyard. But we've got a 10-10 to face down now. Outlaw had a Cabal Coffers of his own, so that's probably why he went for the Urborg there. And is easily managing to get out Sidisi again thanks to Urborg and Cabal Coffers. They're milling some more stuff. They got Zombie Apocalypse, a Null Mage giving them a zombie, and then there's the Mesmeric Orb. Mesmeric Orb would actually help us to get some lands in the bin actually. Then Liliana Vest going in for a tutor maybe, putting something on top of the library. That's exactly what they do. Alright, I'm actually going to go for the discard with Lord Windgrace to try and get into some lands. We're just not doing very well on this front. Alright, Skyshroud Claim, that's good. So we go Cabal Coffers, Skyshroud Claim, and we'll start to get our mounting count up. And that triggers Field of the Dead. Then I think we don't have any lands to grab. We haven't had any fetches or anything, so I'm just going to go for a ping onto Liliana. Then if they want to tutor with her, they'll have to kill her off because it's -2. We'll go Song of the Dryads onto Rakdos. And then we'll get down this Multani as well. And unfortunately down to only 1 card in hand because we're not having the best of luck on the land front here. Still managing to get a lot done, of course. This is return 2 lands you control. Oh, we could. Well, at least if Multani goes down, we can bounce lands back to the hand and get landfall off with that. So we're not completely against the idea of a board wipe here. Oh, actually, we've got a zombie without summoning sickness. I just had it in my head that my opponent's Rakdos got rid of all the creatures in play there for some reason, but we have a zombie, so we can deal with Liliana thanks to Wrenn and 6 and the zombie. So down goes the Liliana. Arcum Dagsson comes down. Everyone's had their commander enter at this point. And do you have Lightning Greaves? Nope, there's a Swiftfoot Boots though. Without the mana to equip with it. Then another commander comes down, Sidisi. I think that's the third time that's come down now. Milling Mana Crypt, a Parallel Lives, and a Cemetery Reaper. Yep, definitely. Zombie Tribal with Zombie Lords in the deck. So they get themselves into a zombie for milling a creature. Oh, an Altar of Dementia. Yeah, that ought to be able to fill up their graveyard nicely. Captive Audience. That's an interesting one. Enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Your life total becomes 4. You discard your hand. Each opponent creates 5 black zombie creature tokens. Well, we've gained control of that. And I think we're going to be going for the zombie tokens. Because at least we can go into a damnation off of that. And you never know, we might not mind discarding our hand, depending on what we draw into here. So a bunch of zombies come down. There's a Tireless Tracker. I think we can effectively empty our hand. So what to do? We can do some stuff with Multani. After we wipe the board, there's no point swinging in at this point, thanks to all the zombies. So let's get down. Well, there's no point taking life there either, I don't think. Let's go for Field of the Dead. Let's go Cabal Coffers. We'll go Tireless Tracker. Oh, and if I'm going to wipe the board, why did I just do that? I'm trying to make more mana with Guy's Cradle. Oh, there's absolutely no point going for Tireless Tracker there. Okay, well, I done goofed. I've just taken a phone call. You've probably already seen some kind of edit where I've told you that I've just taken a phone call, so I'm a bit frantic at the moment. Yeah, I didn't want to leave my opponents waiting any longer. Yeah, so no point in doing anything else. We'll just float the Guy's Cradle mana. Got rid of the Tireless Tracker for absolutely no reason. Altar of Dementia is going to mill us. Don't mind that, because it might put lands in our graveyard. Oh, there we go. We've got a fetch. We've got Reflecting Pool. So, of course, the one time we're milled is the one time that we've got lands on top. Milling goes even more. Alright, milling goes out there. Yeah, I mean, you can see most of what's been milled. Some lands, Realms Uncharted, Bedevil, Avenger of Zendikar, Sol Ring, Scape Shift. That's a bad one to get rid of. And I'd rather have the Dryad of Elysian Grove as well to switch on the Valakut again. Anyway, we get into Damnation. We've got a bunch of lands to go for now at least. But I need to decide if I want to keep the Lord Windgrace Limit Break online. I think I'll definitely activate Multani to get that back. Then I will return Cabal Coffers and a Forest to my hand. Then play the Cabal Coffers and trigger the Field of the Dead again. Let's go for a discard onto that Forest and see if we can draw into anything worthwhile. Alright, a Maze of Ith isn't awful. Obnixilis I very much like. So let's go for... We'll tap down the Cabal Coffers again. Go for Obnixilis. Play the Multani as well. And then we can discard Maze of Ith at the end of the turn, or at the beginning of our upkeep with this thing. And then we can go for Lord Windgrace's Limit Break and get rid of that. We just need to hope that Lord Windgrace actually stays in play. Return a land. We'll just try and protect something from Graveyard Exile. So let's go for... We'll go for the Bloodstained Mire. Can't play additional lands, unfortunately. And then we've got nothing else to do, so we'll have to leave it at that. Thran Dynamo coming down for Go-Go. And yet again, Sidisi comes down. Struggling to keep commanders in play this game. Temple of Deceit, a Chrome's Memorial, and a Shambling Shell, so getting another creature into the bin. They've got 2 cards in hand, and they decide to mill themselves of a Mana Vault and a land. Now, it's just fingers crossed that we can keep this Lord Windgrace in play at the moment. Because I could have gone for the Limit Break last turn and gotten rid of this, but decided against it. so I'm hoping my opponent doesn't make me regret that. Kindred Dominance, choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. I'm guessing that's just going to be a big board wipe at this point. Oh, and we went through to my turn really quickly there. I was hoping to activate Multani again. Oh well. Captive Audience, we go for discard the hand. And we get into Omnath. Alright, so let's first off go for destroying a bunch of permanents. We'll get rid of that. 3, 4, 5, and that's all we can do. Yeah, we'll just target that. It's not going to die, but we'll still get all of the cat tokens. Then we plus on Wrenn, and we'll grab our fetch back. We'll get the Bloodstained Mire. We still want to get up to 5 mountains so that we can switch on the Valakut. Play out the Omnath, which is a really good rip off the top. We're doing pretty well considering that we're in top deck mode. Hopefully we can switch on our card draw with Lord Windgrace again next turn without our opponents interfering too much. Haven't managed to get into Anger during all that mill, unfortunately, because we do have Anger in the deck for discard fodder. What else can we do? We could play out the Multani again. We'd have to bounce lands to do it, though. I don't think it matters. Yeah, let's bounce the Ancient Tomb. And we'll bounce a Forest. Play the Multani out again. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we crack this, then we've got another mountain. So we'll just go for the Stomping Ground here. And now, whenever a mountain comes in, we'll be able to Lightning Bolt something. Valakut has been switched back on the hard way. Yeah, I think that's about it. We'd be doing a lot more damage if we had the haste, but luckily for us, we've had the Rakdos switched off. So it's less likely that the board's going to get wiped. Arcum Dagsson coming down again. The Swiftfoot Boots has been dealt with, so we don't have to worry about haste on Arcum Dagsson. If there's one thing you want to keep Dagsson away from, it's haste. Shambling Shell comes down. Oh, they must have dredged that to fill up the graveyard a bit more, so now they've got a few more lands and a Crypt Breaker, followed by Scarab Guard. Luckily, just about shy of the mana to do anything with that, but they can reanimate anything from any graveyard. And there is a Villis over here. I'm sure we've got some stuff to do as well out of the graveyard. Now let's see if the Rakdos player can do anything in terms of removal. It is Liliana's Contract. When it enters the battlefield, draw 4 and lose 4 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons, I think it's you win the game, isn't it, that one? With different names, you win the game. Yeah, so that's just card draw. They're up to 11 with 2 mana open. Now 3, because they've got the Cabal Stronghold in play. And now Rakdos is passing over, so no removal for us. They got rid of Obnixilis Unshackled, Bloodgift Demon, and Reaper from the Abyss. I really like the idea of a demon tribal deck. I might build that at some point. Alright, Wheel of Fortune. We feed more cards to our opponents than we do get rid of them. 7 cards here, then 1 and 3. I think we'll wait on the Wheel of Fortune. Let's go Lord Windgrace. We'll discard the Ancient Tomb. And that'll draw us 2 cards. Okay, there's the Anger we wanted. Probably save that for next turn, to be honest. Wrenn and 6 will get us back into a fetch. We'll go for the Bloodstained Mire again. Then we'll play the Bloodstained Mire. Not being able to play multiple lands a turn is really hindering us here, but luckily we've had more luck than our opponents have in this game, I think. Crack the Bloodstained Mire. And we will go for... I think we can just go for the Blood Crypt, which triggers the Valakut. I'm going to shoot the Arcum Dagsson. And then I think I want Sidisi out of the game just because the what is it called? The Scarab God is going to give us a big headache if we leave it in play. So let's look at swinging in at Outlaw. 21 trample damage with Multani. Now let's just turn everything sideways at them. So they can block these two. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 26, 36, 37. I think we've got them with that. I don't want to swing in with Omnath because I don't want to lose that. Okay, blocking Multani. That does have trample. They might be forgetting about the trample on that. And then the Scarab God blocking a zombie. So I think we've definitely got them at that. Alright, a plus counter going on to the Scarab God when the Shambling Shell got sacrificed. And there we go, yeah, taking them down to -9. Would have gone after the Rakdos player there because they've got 7 cards in hand, but I think getting rid of the Scarab God was the best plan there. So now we go Sakura Tribe Elder. And I think if someone's got a board wipe, they're going to go in for it, aren't they? So let's go for the Anger. And then at least Anger will be wrapped up in the board wipe. We can grab a mountain with the Sakura Tribe Elder as well to bolt something. Wall of Stolen Identity comes down. You may have it enter as a copy of a creature, except it's a wall. When you do, tap the copied creature and it doesn't untap. They've gone for an Anger of their own because they want the haste. Oh, could have made a... Oh, I was going to say we could have made a hideous mistake going for the Anger there because we give Arcum Dagsson haste, but they had Lightning Greaves anyway. So we don't have to worry about Anger giving the Arcum Dagsson haste at the moment. What we can do is Lightning Bolt at instant speed thanks to Sakura Tribe Elder. We'll get another fetch out so that we can hold up 2 instant speed Lightning Bolts. And then we can definitely keep Arcum out of play. Because Arcum Dagsson can combo off in no time. Ooh, Decree of Pain. They are going to draw a heap of cards with that. Might be time for the Wheel of Fortune then. Problem is, it feeds the mono blue player cards. Alright, so in that case, we might as well go for a mountain now. That scratches our plans of holding up instant speed mountains. We can still go for a fetch though. Throw out a mountain. Valakut will shoot the Rakdos player. Omnath throws out another elemental, and we're going to get more lightning bolts when the elementals die. We've got 6 elementals in play. That's an incarnation, not an elemental. Is Multani? Yep, Multani is an elemental as well. So we've got 7 in play. That is 7 lightning bolts, which is just shy of killing off the Rakdos player, but they are tapped out now. So I think we can get rid of them next turn by playing a mountain. And we've got our Anger in the bin now as well, so we've got haste on all of our stuff. We should be able to draw the game to a close fairly quickly. Knocking wasted down to 2. And they've got 26 cards in hand. I highly doubt they can do anything with them. They've been really shy on mana this whole game. I think they've been unlucky. Playing a land in the command tower. Oh, they've got a mana crypt as well. They might be able to do something. Got into a Sol Ring as well. Makes perfect sense. They've got 20 odd cards in hand. Gogo pointing out that I did help ramp the Rakdos player twice by turning their commander into a land and then the Tempt with Discovery as well for the Ancient Tomb. So that's, I suppose that's true. Wasn't my intention, but they had more mana than they would have done without us at the table. Getting down the Ogre again, so I think we just throw a Lightning Bolt their way. They've got too many cards in hand for us to keep them around. Alright, finally getting to a point where we can play multiple lands a turn. I'm just debating whether to feed a mono blue player a bunch of cards or not. I think the plan currently is to go Lord Windgrace, minus it down and get some fetches so that we can hold up. Oh, we could go Multani. I keep forgetting about Multani in the bin. Could have done that. Alright, let's go for Azusa. We can play the lands that we bounce. So that's a plan to start off with. And then we'll see where we are after that. Want to get rid of this Rakdos player. Okay, go. Paused for quite a while there, so I don't know if he has some kind of counter magic for 1 blue or for free. Anyway, let's go Multani. Multani's done a lot of work for us this game. And we'll just bounce a tiger and a mountain. Then we'll play a mountain, which Valor cuts, so we can Lightning Bolt there. Gets us a Field of the Dead trigger as well to switch on the Gaia's Cradle. Then I think we return a fetch to the hand. We'll go Bloodstained Mire. And we'll play that instead. Then we can shoot Arcum Dagsson at instant speed before it gets Lightning Greaved. Yeah, let's go for discard on Lord Windgrace in that case. Get rid of that forest. There's an Urborg. We can switch on our Cabal Coffers again. Hour of Promise is really good as well. Let's just go for the Urborg. And then we'll play out the Multani. And not quite enough to take our opponent out, but a Multani with haste ought to make short work of the game. So we'll just swing in with everything. Alright, well, our opponent's not doing anything. 5, 6 and 7 could be the dreaded Cyclonic Rift. I think we just go in for lethal on our opponent. They might just be allowing us the victory. Could have activated some Planeswalkers there, actually, because we'd get free activations there. Actually, we've got the emblem on Wrenn and 6 there. Was never expecting to get up to that. Anyway, we're testing them to see if they've got the Rift. No, they just wanted the game over and done with, so I'm fine with drawing it to a close there. Yeah, fine to draw it to a close there, that's fair enough. If they don't have anything, then so be it. Yeah, so this is the multiplayer variant of Lord Windgrace. You can suggest some cards to me if you think that any of them should be in the deck. You could also open the 1v1 list and the multiplayer list in 2 different tabs and compare the two and see which ones should be included in your opinion. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed it. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.